All righty. So welcome, everyone. Welcome to our medical professional live stream. We are excited to welcome you to your session today. I am Marissa Cardoso, and I will be the moderator for this session. With me today, we have an incredible panel that will be talking about the medical professional stream. There's lots of great stories here, lots of great experiences about the medical professional stream, a bit more of a deep dive. With me today, I have Dr. Marcia Savelle. She is our program coordinator for the medical professional stream, and tonight will go as follows. So Dr. Marcia Savelle will be giving a brief overview about the medical professional stream, and then we have prepared some questions that I will be asking. During the description and the set questions, if any of you students have any questions, you can throw that into the chat. Once I'm done my questions that I've gathered about the medical professional stream, it will be open question period, which the both of us, myself and Dr. Marcia Savelle, we'll look through the questions and we'll answer any lingering questions that any of you have. And that will be how the evening goes. And with that, Doctor, are you ready to get going?
So I'm more than happy to be here. Thank you to everyone for joining us. And thank you, Marissa, for being the moderator. I will start by telling you a little about the MPS, or the Medical Professional Stream. You'll hear me refer to it a lot as the MPS because we all like acronyms, right? So the MPS is a unique four-year non-academic program. It was designed to provide co-curricular and extracurricular support to students who would like to pursue professional medical program after they've graduated from Trent. Students participate in the medical professional stream alongside their undergraduate degree of choice. So if they're interested in, for example, doing biology, they do their biology simultaneously while enrolled in the medical professional stream. We find that students enrolled in the medical professional stream have a variety of professional medical programs that they're interested in pursuing. Some of these include medicine, optometry, veterinary medicine, and dentistry. So this is just a short introduction about the medical professional stream.
Perfect, thank you. All right, so I have a few questions for you.
Sure.
So our first question is, how will a Trent degree prepare students for success in medical school, a career in dentistry, or other pathways in the field? You said in your introduction that it helps guide students. So how does that happen?
For Trent students, they have the opportunity to pursue a variety of undergraduate degree programs while they are meeting the requirements for medical schools. And medical schools are looking for students from diverse programs and with diverse backgrounds and from a variety of undergraduate programs. So we have those programs, so many different programs that students can enroll in. Additionally, because Trent has small class sizes on average, students have opportunities to interact one-on-one with their professors. Many professors at Trent know students by their name. But why is this important? So many professional medical programs, such as medicine, dentistry, veterinary programs, they require references or letters of recommendations from applicants. And one of those references is an academic reference, meaning students would need a letter from a professor. Therefore, if a professor knows students well, they will be able to write stronger reference letters in support of that application. And this is just a snapshot of how a Trent degree will prepare students for success in any professional medical program.
Perfect, thank you. And I will say, as well as a Trent grad myself, I got to know my professors so well. I knew all of them by first name and they knew me by first name. And it is really nice to have that environment where you do get to stand out with your profs, which is really nice. All right, so the next question that we gathered was, what stands out to you about the experience that the MPS provides students at Trent?
Let me just start by saying that from the onset, students, as soon as they get to Trent, they will realize that there's a sense of community within the MPS or medical professional stream. Now, because those students are working towards a common goal, they will be in some of the same classes. They will be attending similar information sessions. They will be in similar training, be in some of the same clubs. And some of the clubs where I see a lot of the MPS students, I think in clubs like Trent Pre-Med Society, we have lots of MPS students there. And Trent University in Emergency First Response Team, SUFER. So what really stands out though is just how comprehensive the support that students receive while in the MPS is. For example, outside of general academic advising, the MPS students receive additional support to ensure that they are meeting the course prerequisites for any of the professional medical programs to which they will be applying. Students in the MPS, they also get an opportunity to get various types of training. You have them doing first aid training, basic life support, and so many other different types of specialized training. Community organizations, they reach out with opportunities to the MPS so that we can share with students. And because this support is so comprehensive, students are usually very, very involved building their portfolio at the get-go because they're exposed to so many different opportunities. And that portfolio ultimately prepares them to apply to those programs later on.
Perfect. Thank you. That sounds like a lot of amazing opportunities that our students get to partake in.
Yeah.
All right. So students really love hands-on and career related experience, which you were kind of starting to allude to. And it's so important to any program. So how and when can students start really partaking in these kind of experiences, this experiential hands-on learning?
There is no particular time that students they can start getting involved in experiential learning from as early as they would like, right? Most students I find though, they tend to wait until they have completed their first year, their basic sciences, and then they start getting into those opportunities. Some students may get experiential learning opportunities as part of their undergraduate program. And there are often times when students will come to me and they already have an idea of where they want that experiential learning to take place. They may have some place in mind and they may have made initial contact with those organizations, those offices, those institutions. And what I simply do is to provide a support letter saying why this is important to them now in building their portfolio so that they can apply to those professional medical programs. For example, we had last year one of our students shadowing a physician in this BC, and there are a lot more experiential learning opportunities that I can discuss with you as well.
Wonderful. Thank you. BC sounds so fun. All right. Next question. So I guess adding on to that, because we always love hearing a bit more about those experiential learning opportunities, what other opportunities have you seen students participate in through MPS?
So one that students really like is shadowing a professional. So this is, I think, the most requested or the most sought after opportunities, shadowing a physician, shadowing a dentist. And we are right now coordinating with a dentist in Peterborough to have two of our students shadow that dentist during the summer. And they are both so excited about that opportunity. Another thing that through the medical professional stream is students get experience in a teaching hospital. And let me just explain that it's not open to every student. As part of one of the partnerships that Trent has, every year, one student or two students get an opportunity to participate in a mini clerkship that in Georgia, USA. And we just had Ben, one of our students, return from participating in that clerkship. And he had a wonderful experience. He got to experience what a teaching hospital would look like, attend some of the classes, spend time observing MD students or students studying medicine, and he got his to do some hands-on activities like inserting an IV as well. So I saw some of those pictures. And this opportunity, I find that students typically like participating in that because it makes them excited about the career that they they want to pursue. So any clinical experience that they get to partake in is very helpful to them. And that these are just two of the main ones, but there are others as well that students are involved in.
Yeah, shadowing is super important, and it's really fantastic that they've had those opportunities so far.
Oh, yes.
So, on that note, because you were talking about partnerships, can you talk about some of those unique partnerships Trent has that allows Trent grads to gain direct entry into medical schools?
Yes, Trent has some partnerships with Caribbean medical schools, three medical schools in the Caribbean in particular. The first one of those schools is St. George's University School of Medicine, and it is located on the island of Grenada. I had the opportunity to visit that campus recently. Absolutely beautiful. Meet some of our students who were there, talk to them, and hear about all the amazing support that they are receiving. Students in who get accepted at St. George's or SVU, as students would know it, they automatically get a 20,000 US dollars scholarship if they're enrolled in the MPS. And students also have the option of doing year one in the UK, Northumbria University, and then move on to Grenada, and then the US, and then or US, Canada, or UK to the last 2 years of study. Then we have another medical school that we partner with, Trinity School of Medicine, and this school is located on the island of St. Vincent. And that's the school which gives us these amazing clerkship, mini clerkship opportunities for students. And students go to that dedicated teaching hospital in Georgia. So that's one of the highlights of that program that students love. Even if it's a competitive process and students have to apply for it, but they certainly look forward to participating in that. University of Medical and Health Sciences, University of Medicine and Health Sciences, UMHS. It is located in the island on the island of St. Kitts, and students get the opportunity to start their program, their basic sciences in St. Kitts, and complete that program in Portland, Maine, USA, as well as their opportunities to do their clinical clerkships and their core rotations at hospitals or medical centers in Canada and the US as well. So for each of those universities, I must mention that students have the opportunity to apply to go back to Canada to do their core rotations in their third or fourth year. And they also have the opportunity to apply to do, after those 4 years of medical school, and they're getting into their paid specialties, their residencies, they have the opportunity to apply to do those residencies in the US or Canada as well. Now, in terms of those partnerships that we have, we pick those schools very carefully because they're all accredited by accrediting bodies recognized by the World Federation of Medical Education. And that is really important when you're looking for a medical school to go to. Why? Because when students are applying after they've completed their medical degree, their degree in medicine, Doctor of Medicine degree, then if they're applying for residencies, in the United States, if the medical school is not accredited, then they will not be able to get through there. So we are happy to say that all our schools are accredited, and therefore that is not a problem.
Perfect, thank you. And it sounds like our Trent grads are very much world travelers, and who wouldn't want to be studying on the beaches of the Caribbean? That sounds like a dream.
It is, yes. And the good thing that students like is that they also get an opportunity to come back to Canada or
Mhm.
to the US to do their rotation, their clinical clerkship, and later their residency. So they know there's a pathway to return.
And that's in their third and fourth year, yeah.
In their third and fourth year, they do those rotations. They're more the practical components of their degree program. And in the first 2 years, they would have been doing their basic sciences.
Perfect. Wow. All right. So I'm sure you also talk to lots of our students then. And so what would be your advice that you would give to any prospective students considering studying in the medical pathways at Trent?
I want to tell students that Trent has various support and pathways that will help students who want to get into professional medical programs and occupations. And I have two students in the medical professional stream currently working on that project, trying to track our grads and see where in the world they are, what they're doing. And we haven't been able to get through to everybody as well, but as yet, but from what we have found, 90% of our grads are currently either pursuing a professional medical program of choice or pursuing a medical or healthcare related career. So you find that those students are doing really well. And a lot of times the students reach out to us and tell us, what give us an update on where they are at. So as I guess the statistics will speak for itself, and students should not hesitate if this is something you want to pursue and you're wanting this help, because it gets overwhelming when students have to do this on their own. I I receive emails, when students who are not in the medical professional stream and who want to apply to medical school, they didn't realize how much support they needed because it gets to be a very overwhelming process. So it's helpful if you have somebody or a program that is helping to steer you in the right direction and take away some of, you know, the organizing that you would need to do before you apply. Like for example, we have MCAT strategy sessions, MCAT in prep for the medical school exam, right? The standardized exams that you have to write in medical schools. The DAT, the one to get into dentistry, the OAT, the one to get into optometry. So we have sessions like this on this Friday, for example. I'm just about to get some pizza for the student, order pizza for Friday because they're excited about that. Students get an opportunity to meet, and students who have written the MCAT share their experiences. We go through strategy passages together. We talk about strategy, rationale, thought processes as to how to answer those questions. And we also work closely with Princeton Review sometimes to have some strategy sessions for students.
Thank you. That sounds like a lot of supports, and it's so helpful as well for people who've already written the MCATs to come back and be invited to explain their how they felt and what they did to prepare. That's fantastic. All right, last question I have for you before we move on to our students who I see have put in some questions already. So thank you for those who've already written in questions. We will get to that after this last question. So my last question is, who should students contact if they have any questions about the medical professional stream at Trent? Who can they contact for more information?
So students can certainly reach out to me. And the easiest way to reach out to me is by sending an email to mps@trentu.ca. So mps@trentu.ca. And I will certainly reply to your email as soon as I'm able to. Another way that students reach out, and because I'm not always in the office, I'm at attending meetings, I'm elsewhere. Once I get those voice messages, voicemail, I will call you back. But you can also reach out at 705-748, that's Trent's number, 1011, and my extension is 6658. 705-748-1011, 6658 extension number.
And for everyone, I'm just putting that into the chat. So if you didn't take that down, I am putting it in the chat so that everyone else can get a chance to write that down. Fantastic. All right, so those are my questions. I'm going to go into the Q&A now and see what everyone else has had questions. So for our first question in here, and thank you so much for those who have put in their questions. And as we continue to talk, if you have any other questions, please feel free to put them in this question box and we will get to them. Good night. Would you advise a medical stream or find a school to go straight into med school?
I ask that question all the time. Good question. And again, I would say that it depends on the student, but what I have found that students are happy to have an undergraduate degree program, like a degree that they can fall onto in case something goes wrong during the medical school process. And students who have that opportunity to pursue their undergraduate degree and get that hands-on experience, get that support from the medical professional stream, start realizing, okay, maybe I don't want to be a medical doctor, but I'd prefer to be something like a veterinarian. Maybe so students start making those decisions later on and realizing that doing that before they ended up spending lots of money just going directly to a medical school straight out of high school. So I said it gives this, so that is an advantage. And just meeting students who have similar goals to you, getting to be part of networks, having that foundation before you go to med school, I think it's a really great option.
Absolutely. Thank you. All right. Our next question is, are graduates from one of the affiliated medical schools considered international medical graduates? Because I know that there are fewer residency positions available for international graduates, so it may be harder to return to Canada for a career.
Yes, that is correct. That students who leave Canada and go internationally, they're considered an international medical graduate, an IMG. And those students, they have the opportunity to return to Canada. Now, what typically happens is because Canada has fewer residency spots, and the US has more, and of course, students look for which place pays more as well for the residencies. A lot of them often decide that they want to go to complete their residencies in the US and then come back to Canada. The College of Physicians and Surgeons of Canada, of Ontario, for example, is making it easier for students to return to Canada to practice medicine. They're removing some of the barriers that were previously there. And you're finding examples for areas like family medicine and so on. So and we have sessions with those organizations. So they explain to students what they need to do to come back, what the pathways look like. So one of the things that the students have to do is to write an exam called the MCCQE exam, which gives them an opportunity to return to Canada to do their residencies. but there's also the option of the US. Also, the residency match in the US is earlier than the one in Canada. So a lot of students who apply and they match in the US, they do not wait for the Canadian residency match to open up. So yeah, so there is an opportunity to return.
Perfect. Thank you. Next question is, what are the durations of these programs? So
Which program? I am not sure which program.
I
Is it
think
the medical
maybe
school?
they think, well, maybe we'll do both of how long does the MPS go for and how long is medical school. Whoever, this is an anonymous question. If that's not your question, then just throw in the question a bit more detailed and I'll get to that. But for right now, maybe how long is the MPS and how long is medical school?
So the MPS is alongside your degree program, or you're in the MPS while you're completing your undergraduate degree program. So that would be a 4-year program. So with the medical school, it's typically 4 years, 2 years of basic sciences. Again, there are little variations depending on where you're going to. There's 2 years of your basic sciences, then 2 years with your core rotations, clinical clerkships, and then students go into residencies, which is when they start to get paid for what they do.
Thanks. Next question is, what does a typical first year look like in MPS as we choose our major or degree of choice later as a question?
So students in the MPS, some students in the MPS who are also in programs like biomedical science, conservation biology, or kinesiology and forensic science, they've already chosen their major when they come to Trent. But if they did not choose their major and they're going to declare a major or a major, when I say major, because some students tell me, what do you mean by major? Meaning the undergraduate degree program that they will be pursuing. So those students, they have those, what would a year look like? Remember, for the medical professional stream, you're not doing any courses. Your courses are part of your undergraduate degree. So in your first year, you'll be doing those courses as part of your degree program, but you will be getting information sessions. For example, some students last year in their first year at Trent were attending information sessions that McMaster University was having for us, that University of Ottawa was having for us, and they're also participating in first aid training. They're also coming to hear the MCAT talks because they want to hear what it's like. So there's so much that they're doing, and students choose what they're participating in based on their schedule. There is no set program, no set support that they should be participating or it's mandated that they participate in. They work it around their schedule and they participate. While in their degree programs or while doing their courses, students start deciding, okay, maybe I think I'm liking my psychology courses more, or maybe I'm liking the biologies more. And a lot of times towards the end of the first semester, students have already met with an academic advisor to help determine which major, to help them declare which major or which undergraduate program that they will stay in or choose while at Trent.
Great, thank you. And our next question, do students in the MPS program get into Canadian medical programs at all, or is it just focused internationally? The partnerships, of course, are with the specific 3. However, have any students gone to a different medical school?
Yeah, so when students are in the medical professional stream, we do not say you only go to school in these 3 schools in the Caribbean. No, we're opening up the medical professional stream to students who want to pursue any professional medical program or most professional medical programs, right? So students are not only there for medical school, they're there for dentistry, they're there for optometry, so they're there for veterinary medicine. And to answer your question about the medical school in particular, those students who want to go to medical school, some of them have gone outside of Canada. I know right now we have one student who is still waiting to finish their interview in Canada to know whether to go outside of Canada to pick up that offer that they receive. So you have students who pursue studies in Ireland. You have students. I have a student, fantastic student who's in the UK right now. We have students in the Caribbean. We have students in the US. One of our students is studying optometry in Arizona. You have in Canada doing medicine, chiropractic medicine, dentistry, and so on. So we have students everywhere. While we have the reason why we created those 3 pathways is for students to give students an expansion of their plan A. A lot of students, their plan A is to remain in Canada. And those programs in Canada, let's be real, they're really competitive. So students who are open to going outside, we've given them fantastic opportunities. And for one of our students who's starting, for example, with St. George's University this year, she's gotten a substantial scholarship because she's an outstanding student, and her portfolio is it looks very rich, and in terms of the amount of extracurricular activities, her co-curricular record, everything. So those Caribbean schools are, like I said, we don't want to call them options, but help students create more pathways and opportunities for students because of how competitive certain programs are in Canada. And they're free to go wherever they would like, but we have just made it easier for them for certain programs.
So really it's just a choice and giving our students all the choices that they can have, and then allowing our students to really make the choice at the end of the day.
Yes, definitely. And we're looking at expanding those opportunities for students, and not only for students who want to do medicine, but students who want to do veterinary medicine and students who want to do pharmacy. And you understand? So we are currently and constantly working on looking for opportunities and negotiating other pathways for students, and looking for the best possible pathway for them or best possible opportunity for them.
Thank you. Question is, how many students are in the MPS program each year?
So the MPS program accepts a total of 50 students each year, and students typically have an average of 80% when they get in. And yeah, so once we reach our limit of 50 or meet our quota of 50, then we do not accept people past that. But if students are still trying to make up their minds, we're still accepting students. I mean, a lot of students are just starting to accept offers at various schools and universities, so there's still an opportunity to secure your spot if you want to be in the first 50 students.
Thank you. At this point, there's no other questions. If any students have any last burning questions, and we have our expert on panel here with us. So I'm just going to give it a couple of minutes. If anyone has any other questions, if they need clarification on anything that's already been said, now is the time. But while we wait, if there's any last burning questions, I do want to thank you, Dr. Marcia Cervell, for being here with our students, having and taking the time out of your day to answer all of these fantastic questions. It's been a lot of fantastic information that's been given and some misinformation that we have quelled, so that's fantastic. And just as a reminder for students, if you do need to contact for any more information, the email is mps@trentu.ca. And the phone number is 705-748-1011 at extension 6658, which can both be found in the chat of this. And we do have a question. So the question is, so if someone decides to enter the MPS after first year, is there a chance there will be no spots left?
So during the first year, students, there is an opportunity to opt in, and we have very few students entering at that point because sometimes students who have wanted to opt in, they found one of their courses was difficult, they cannot meet that 80%. And of course, if we look very closely at our applicants, how many credits have they completed then. If you've completed more than 5 credits, students cannot be part of the program anymore. There are rules. So to stand a better chance of getting into I would advise students to apply right out of high school so that they could get into that top 50.
Perfect, thank you. We do have another question. If we wanted to do a specific major / degree, such as psychology, how do we declare that once we get to Trent?
My advice there would be to meet with your academic advisor because that's what the academic advisor is there for. So what students usually do when as soon as they come in and they say, okay, I think I would want to do a psychology degree, what I do is that I said, okay, first thing I would like you to do is to meet with your academic advisor and they'll walk you through how to do that. So they are amazing. Academic advisors are amazing. They're there to help you, and they will certainly help you at every step of the process.
They really do a fantastic job of mapping out exactly what you'll need for that major, as well
Right.
as itself of actually declaring a major is really simple on your My
It's
Trent
simple.
student portal on there. But we always suggest meeting with an academic advisor before just hitting that button, just so that you do know what courses you need to take to have that major.
Yeah. And I would just also suggest that they see an academic advisor early on. Right after you come to Trent, try to meet with an academic advisor and say, this is what you're thinking of taking, and they can help you, you know, enroll in courses to prepare you for that major that you would like to probably take eventually.
We also suggest seeing an academic advisor at least once a year, just so that you are on track, so that you're not in your 4th year and you realize that you forgot to take half a credit and you're half a credit short and you start stressing about that in your final year. They really make sure that you're calm and you have the journey that you need for your Trent experience.
Yeah. And one more thing I'd add as well is that I'm also here to help. Once you realize, okay, I want to go to medical school, maybe I want to apply to the US, I want to apply to Canada, or simply I want to apply to University of Ottawa or School of Medicine, or I want to apply to University of Toronto. What sort of courses for example, if you want to go to University of Ottawa, I know for sure you have to take a statistics course. So these are the things you're working with your academic advisor for your undergraduate degree, but you're also working with me so we can see whether you're taking courses get towards getting you into the medical school that you are planning to apply to.
So you really have 2 people in your corner for that academic journey, which is pretty fantastic. Question from Marissa. What was your program at Trent and how did you find your experience? Oh my gosh, I love this question. Thank you for asking. So I did an honors bachelor's of arts in geography and minored in history and in the teacher education stream. And then I came back for my bachelor's of education. I've been a teacher for 5 years before being an enrollment advisor that I am now with Trent University. And I have truly loved my experience. I've had so many different experiential learning opportunities. In one term, I went on 7 different field trips. I mean, I don't know anywhere else where you're going to have so much experiential learning in terms of understanding what you know in class, but then being able to understand how it works in the real world. And that prepares you so much for when you do leave school of feeling so incredibly prepared, and also having either internships or placements or co-ops that Trent provides you. It's not only that experiential learning, but it's giving you those connections and those references for when you are applying to positions. All of my placements allowed me to have the teaching positions that I've had and been incredible references. And like I said earlier on as well, I really loved all of my professors and I knew them all by first name. And because I did, they were able to give me opportunities that I had no idea were even there, which is really fantastic, and suggest different classes for me to take because they knew what I was interested in, which I think is second to none, in my humble opinion. All right, any other lingering questions? Fantastic. Well, thank you for our incredible panelists. Thank you for everyone who showed up and asked your incredible questions. If you wanted to come back and rewatch this live stream, you are absolutely able to on the live stream webpage of Trent University. This has been recorded so that you can go back and rewatch it. It will be up very shortly. So if anyone that you know wasn't able to make this recording, or if you just wanted to go back on the information that we had already talked about, you are able to do so. And other than that, thank you everyone and have a fantastic night.